Movies have the power to bring people together and introduce audiences to communities, cultures, and concepts that they haven't experienced before. That's the goal behind the new Cinefest Latino Boston, which will feature stories from filmmakers across North, South, and Central America, which focuses on many lived experiences in the Latino community. And the first annual festival will kick off this week. We're so excited about it. Its founder and executive director, Sabrina Aviles, joins us now to discuss it. Hi.
Hello, how are you?
We just saw a little bit of the trailer there. This is, I imagine, an extraordinary opportunity to really engage folks in the culture of Latin America, especially in a time when we're seeing a lot of movies that are just sort of repeating the same story over and over again.
Yeah, I think for me, as a Latina myself, it's really important for me to flip that narrative and show the other side, show another side, show that we are not all from one country, that even though we speak Spanish, we all have very, very different dialects influenced by people who have immigrated in those respective countries and because of the indigenous populations that were first there before the colonizers came. So I'm here, my mandate as both a filmmaker and a film curator is to show another side and to use film as sort of a springboard to get deeper into our culture.
So much of the industry doesn't have the proper representation, especially when you're going to the big box office and things like that. I imagine this is an opportunity for filmmakers to shine here, to have a platform that they may not necessarily always have.
Yes, and I think we pride ourselves because we really want to support the independent voice. I mean, I think I always try to tell to, especially Latino filmmakers in this country, don't go to Hollywood. Don't use Hollywood as your gauge or your don't try to be inspired by Hollywood. Go within your culture. Go see what's happening in Latin America. See what's happening in Europe. To tell those stories in very nuanced, complex and sometimes really challenging ways. But again, I think that those are risks as independent filmmakers take that we really want to support. It's not something, these are films that you would not normally see on commercial television. A couple of them ended up being on HBO, but HBO is, it has a history of of supporting independent voice, but that's really who we are. So if you want to see commercial film, you probably won't see it at Cinefest.
Tell me, how do you select the films?
So we have a programming committee, and a lot of the films are submitted, and so we have reviewers who then review the films and sort of flush out the ones that are, take a look at this one. They score the films basically, and then the director of programming and I, we basically sit down and then kind of see, all right, what's working, what's not working, what are the themes, what is missing, because unfortunately we don't have a plethora of feature-length narrative films, so a lot of times we have to go to distributors and say what is out there. We do have them on a short level. There's a lot of fiction represented in shorts, but not on feature-length. So between our reviewing team and then our programming team, that's usually just either 2 or 3 of us. There's actually another person who is involved. Then we discuss, see what is relevant, see where the themes are that could give us some kind of consistency through the film festival, and that's how we ultimately make our decisions.
Are you looking at or looking for something specific?
We don't. We sort of, the curation happens very organically.
Okay.
So we can't say this year we're going to do themes around climate change, because that may not be the flavor of the day. And also, with COVID, everything's all a little bit skewed. So, there were filmmakers that were not making films.
Yeah.
So, what are the themes that are coming out? So that's what we try to do is sort of see consistency, so that at least we have a through line, not a perfect through line, but a through line through the curation.
Absolutely. So your opening film, and we have a clip for that from La Pecera?
La Pecera.
Pecera, got it.
The fishbowl.
I've been practicing that
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
Talk to me about this film, and then we're going to roll a clip.
So the film for me is very personal because it is a film from Puerto Rico. It was an official selection at Sundance. I saw it, and I lost my father, who was from Puerto Rico, a couple of years ago. So I feel like it was a way for me to, pay homage to him. And I also know that the largest group of Latinos here in Massachusetts are Puerto Ricans. So I thought, why not open with this, which is an allegory, really, with what's happening now in terms of the relationship between the United States and Puerto Rico. It serves on a metaphor on very many different levels. It's a really powerful film. So.
All right, let's take a look at the clip.
Estás flaquita. ¿Cuánto tiempo te vas a quedar aquí?
No sé, un mes, una semana, no sé.
Ay, qué bueno, para recompensar el tiempo.
So obviously just a really short representation of that film, but a lot of, when I was going through all of the films that are going to be as part of this amazing festival, so many rich topics, but also a lot of fun too as well. It's not always, a heavy trauma narrative necessarily.
No. Yeah, we'd like to mix it up because, we see a lot of these stereotypes, a lot of this trauma on the news all the time, but we don't, like I said, we never go into depth. But I also, since I've been curating film festivals, I also see us as a people as very celebratory. I read somewhere that the happiest people on earth live in Latin America.
I believe that. I
believe it too. And I think that there are films around art and artists and culture that for me are really important to include into the festival. Again, because it sort of debunks that myth and that label as that we're victims and that we're here to no, we're so much more than that. And I also think that when people learn about Latin America, 9 times out of 10 it's usually through some form of art. It's music. It's like, oh, Maluma from Colombia or Bad Bunny from Puerto Rico, or wonderful writers or wonderful filmmakers. So film is one of those genres where people, if they want to enter and dive deep into who we are, that's an entryway.
How has things like the writer's strike and things like that affected, especially the Latino film community?
I think it's affected all community. I mean, I'm on the board of the Massachusetts Production Coalition, and it's really hit us hard. And I believe one of my colleagues, who is a union member at IATSE, said they think there's a 90 or 95% unemployment. And this is Boston, where it's known for its in the industry, but it's not like LA or New York. So I think that has trickled down especially not only to writers and actors, but also to just other film crew members. So I have spoken to, as a filmmaker, I have spoken to my own friends and colleagues in the industry, and they have felt the pinch. So even people think it's mostly fiction that has been affected, but it's also impacted the documentary world. So, if it's impacted the world and the industry in general, it probably has trickled down to Black and brown filmmakers, for sure.
For sure.
For sure.
And I know, if folks aren't able to get their brand new shows and things like that, while that's being hashed out, come to the film festival, right?
Exactly. Come to the film festival. And the wonderful thing about the film festival is we'll have a lot of directors there present. So there'll be talkbacks and Q&As. And I think that's what also sets us apart from just watching it at home, is that you actually dialogue with the filmmakers and find out about their creative process. And that is really powerful.
All right, Sabrina Aviles, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you.
Again, Cinefest will run until October 5th. For tickets and more information, head to their website, cinefestlatino.com.